Hi everybody, welcome to the Facebook Live today. We're going to talk a little bit about just a few of my favorite math games because we're all in the mood for some entertainment lately and some games, I think. Things are a little crazy. First, if I may suggest, the imperative right now is to take care of yourself. I think a lot of us are kind of having some anxiety. There's lots of changes. There's a lot of unknowns. So I would just really recommend that you take a deep breath. Also, a thing to think about is the fact that a lot of you have students at home, your own kids at home. Keep in mind that school doesn't have to look like school. Like your home can look like whatever kind of school you want it to look like. And I think you have some choices and some things that you can do to to run things with your kids the way that you want to run them. Give me just a second, and I'm going to go ahead and tell Twitter that we're on live. So give me just a minute. Be thinking about your favorite math games. Almost there. And you'd think I would do that faster, but okay, cool. So let it look like the way you want it to look like. Encourage your kids to get some activity. Encourage you to get some needed rest and do some things for yourself, and to take some needed deep breaths. Okay, so I'd like to introduce a few of my favorite math games. I'm actually looking for a set of notes that I had that I'm sure there we go. Let me make sure that I mentioned all before I start with the games. Yep, we did that. We did that. This might sound a little bit funny, but I give you permission to do with your kids what you want to do with your kids. And just know that these few weeks are not going to make or break their education. So do what you need to do that is fun for you. So a couple of my favorite games, Legos. Like if you have Legos or Tinker Toys or building blocks or anything that's sort of that kind of spatial put together stuff, I would highly recommend that you grab those out and just start building, start putting things together. It is very clearly proven by research that kids that play with those spatial kinds of things definitely build their spatial reasoning. It's also one of the areas in the United States that we are the weakest in. So sort of as we grade ourselves against other places in the world. So the more that you can do sort of put together kind of spatial things with Legos or any kind of building blocks, that will definitely be a helpful thing for you to do. Y'all, I'm in this new Facebook Live setup and I'm not liking it because I can't see comments. I think I can tell that comments are coming in, but I can't see them. That's not making me happy. All right, well, I'll see if I can figure it out as we go. We'll get better. We'll get better at all the things. So here is a first suggestion of a favorite game. A suggestion of a favorite game is anything to do with dice. So specifically, Farkle is cool. It's a dice rolling game. One of the things that we particularly like over here at Pam Harris Consulting are games that have strategy. So there's some strategy involved. By the way, I'm going to mention a couple games, and then we're going to spend some time on a couple of games. So this one I'm more just going to mention. I can't get that thing straight. If you've got dice games, anytime where you're trying to, make it happen, Pam. There we go. Anytime you're trying to score games with dice, so Yahtzee would be another fine game to play. Where here's the hint. When you add up your score, talk about how you did. Maybe not all the time, but some of the time, talk about how you added the sum of the dice together. When you're finding things like that, the more that you can sort of share your thinking, the more your kids will have a sense of how you thought about it. And then they're like, oh, that's a thing. Like, I don't just have to, whatever I'm doing, I can actually think about using relationships. One of the reasons that we like Farkle is because in the scoring, there's lots of 50s and hundreds and multiples of 100. Those are super friendly numbers that we want kids to get good at. And so we like this game because you can both use strategy and use a lot of really nice friendly numbers. So I'm not going to talk a ton about Farkle. Oh, let me also say though, today's Today's Facebook Live has everything to do with games for purchase. And I sort of tossed around as we were talking about which one of these to do first. Why do the for purchase first? So the reason I'm doing the for purchase games first today is go order the ones that you can afford. Or the ones that you want. And then tomorrow we'll do a Facebook Live where we'll talk about games where we'll just give you some free downloads that you can play right away with the stuff that you have in your house. That way you can start playing with those tomorrow while these are coming on Amazon or whoever you're ordering them, and then you can play with those after they get there. So we sort of tried to time it correctly. Hopefully we did an okay job. So a great dice game, any dice games where you're having strategy and where you're having to sum totals, we are fabulous. Here's another fabulous game that you might consider. This is an oldie but a goodie. This has been around forever, so you might recognize this from your days of being a kid. Highly recommend this one for younger learners, so ages 8 and up. You have to order the cards. So as you're choosing cards, there's all about ordering and about range and about sort of numbers going in between each other. So it's excellent for younger kids. But because it involves strategy, it's actually true that it's great family fun for everybody because there's strategy involved. So while the younger kids are really just messing around with order and the fact that numbers go in between things and the range of numbers, the older people playing with it can be using strategy. We like games like that because we like to be able to use games that don't bore us as adults too much. Let's see. Oh, I can see a couple of comments. Norma, good to see you. All right. Well, thanks for joining in, everybody. Kathy says she loves Racco. Kathy from Canada. Great to have you on board today. Okay. So now I want to mention a couple of my absolute favorite games. So absolute favorite game is a game called Set. So this is a card game. We had some friends of ours introduce this to us a few years ago. If I am ever supposed to take a game somewhere, I will pretty much take Set. I love the game Set. It is fun for many ages. I think you could do stuff with it with really young kids. Not actually sure what it says for ages on here. You would have to tweak the rules a little bit for really young kids, but it is totally fun. So it's literally just a card game, a deck of cards. Now it's a very specific deck of cards, and I'm just going to randomly grab one and let's sort of talk about it. So if we randomly grab just like this card, there are attributes on this card. So let's name some of the attributes. There's color. This one's purple. There's shape. These are rhombuses, right? Rhombi. There's shading. So this is shaded solid because, see, you'll notice that this one is shaded striped and this one is not shaded at all. So there's the shading. There's the color. There's 3 colors. There's 3 shadings. I just showed you the 3 shadings. Here are the 3 shadings. 3 colors, 3 shadings, and 3 different shapes. So there's the squiggly guy that you see right here, squiggly guy. There's the, what is that? An oval. There we go. There's the oval, there's the squiggly guy, and we saw earlier that there were the rhombuses, or some kids might call these diamonds. So 3 shapes, 3 colors, 3 shadings, and 3 numbers. So you might have 1 of a thing, and you might have 3 of a thing. And do we have any 2s up here? We have no 2s. And you might have 2 of a thing. So, 2 of a thing. So notice that there are things that are similar and things that are different. In order to make a set, so that's the name of the game is called Set. In order to make a set, I have some sample sets for us today, then either an attribute has to all be the same or it has to all be different. So here is an example. Yeah, Beth likes Set. Excellent. Set is so fun, says Lauren. I like it. Totally cool. So in order to make a set, all the attributes have to be the same or they have to be different. So this is a set because the number is all different. 1, 2, 3. The shading is all the same. The color is all the same. So number, color, shading. What am I missing? The shapes are all the same. So either all the same or all different. So this is kind of actually sort of a boring set. Let me show you another boring set, and then we'll get into some more of the interesting sets. So these are a couple more boring sets. So this top set is a boring set. Let's see. The colors are all different. Shapes are all the same. Shading is all the same. Number is all the same. See, it has to be all the same or all different. How about down here? Kind of actually the exact same kind of set, except the shape is different. So the number's the same, the shape is the same, the colors are different, the shading is the same. Yes, right? Okay, let's look at a couple more that are a little bit more interesting sets. So like, what if I totally taped my cards to paper? They come off. You don't care. All right, here is a more interesting set. So I'm going to give you a minute to think about this set. What is the same and what is different? Come on, focus, camera, focus. What is the same and different? Remember, in order to be a set, it has to all be the same or it has to all be different. So everybody thinking, is this a set? I kind of already told you it was. Is this a set? So let's see. Number, all one, right? All the same. How about shape? All the same. How about color? All different, right? Green and purple and red, all different. How about shading? All different. We have open, I can point, open and shade and striped and solid, all different. So this is a set because either the attribute is all the same or the attribute is all different. And see how this is a much more interesting set? Typically when I play with younger kids, these are the harder ones for them to find. They tend to look for the ones that are like the first two that we looked at, where more things are all the same and kind of the obvious things are different. So it's a little bit harder when we're looking for things that are all different. Let's look at another one. So let's see, we're asking for things for us to list the games. Yes, we will list the games. Somebody will list them all in the chat for sure. And then I'm trying to remember, Sue, can you remind me, was I supposed to give away a link today? I think I was, but I don't remember what it is now. Sue, send me that link or put the link we'll have Sue put the link in the chat at the end. So I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to have a link. I'm spacing it at the moment because I'm thinking about something much more interesting, which is set. Okay, is this a set? What do you think? Remember, all the attributes have to be the same or they have to be different. Is this a set? Okay, let's see. Number, all the same. 2. Is the shapes all the same or all different? Shapes are all different. That's good. Is the shading all the same or all different? Shading is all the same. There's no shading, right? It's clear. Color. Is the color all the same or all different? Colors are all different. So this would be a set. See how that's more interesting? It's more interesting when things are different. Let's take a look at one more set. Example of a set. Ooh, and I gotta hurry because we're gonna make these fairly short. Is this an example of a set? Are all the attributes either the same or different? Same or different? Okay, the hardest thing I do on this Facebook Live is hold these so they're like not crooked. That is so hard for me to do. So an example of a set because the numbers all the same, colors all different, shading all different, numbers, shapes. Oh, not a set because we have 2 of the same shapes. Hi, you thought I was going to give you ones that were all sets. And do you think I intended them to be all sets? Well, that's a question worth asking. How about this one? Is this a set? Is this a set? Focus. I love my camera. Is this a set? Catherine has 5 sets of set for her class. That is awesome. Oh, Sherry, I love your idea. 8th graders can make their own deck of cards with transformations. Fabulous. That can totally be something that you could like send home for kids to do. Younger kids. Eliminate one of the attributes. Yeah. Hey, Mandy. How's it going? Good to see you. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Sue is reminding me that we are going to give away a game today. I totally forgot. The last game that I talk about today, either it or another one that the makers have made, we will give away. If you'll, if you want, if you're interested, we'll tell you how to do that. There's a link in the chat right now. If you click on that link and give us your email, then we will email one of you lucky a winner, a favorite game. So we'll definitely do that. Let's see. I'm looking at more of the chats. So people are saying, oh, so Kathy thinks that the first and the second one are solid. So this is not solid. These are striped. So excellent question. These are striped. So Kathy says not a set because this one's solid, but these are striped. So solid. So is it a set? Let's check. Number, all the same or all different? All different. Shapes, all the same or all different? All different. Color, all the same or all different? All different. What have I not done? And shading, I think we've done them all different. So, hey, we've got a set. And see how much more interesting this set is than, say, that first one that we held up? See, now this is just kind of boring. It's not as exciting. But this is a set worth talking about. Yeah, cool. So when you actually play the game set, and you play more like, now pretend this is we've put these down. Again, I sort of stuck these up so that they're, wow, I can do this. So that they're taped. Okay, I just need like an assistant or something to just hold things. What's really funny is this is completely crooked right now in my hand, but it looks straight on the camera. Anyway, you put down a bunch of cards. I think there's actually a rule about how many cards you put down on the table. I just threw a bunch down and taped them down as many as fit. I think this is actually, if it's a 4x4, that might actually be correct. And then from there, you say go. And then everybody sees how fast they can find a set. So because of time, I'm actually not going to spend a lot of time letting you look for sets on this. If you wanted to right now, you could actually take a screen capture, and then you could kind of get an idea of all the different kinds of cards that are in set. Again, highly recommend. It's a lot of fun. You might consider that if you're playing with older people or more experienced people, that you might give a few seconds before anybody can claim a set. So you actually might set some times before anybody can claim a set. Or I've played with people before that are so fast that I just get irritated and want to give up because they get all the sets and I don't even get a chance to find a set. So often we'll like give a time where we'll let the time sort of go. So say I'm playing with an inexperienced player or a younger player, I'll let the time kind of go. And then I'll say, has anybody found a set? And then maybe then everybody can show the set they found. That's a little less competitive. However, I'll tell you what, once you get good at it, then it is fun to turn the time on. Or it's fun to play with an inexperienced player and be the one that can find the sets. But don't make it all about speed, or you might discourage too many people. Make it about discussing how you found the set. So one thing that I've seen when people play the game that I think is less helpful is when somebody says set and they grab their 3 cards, they pull it out. Oh, by the way, when you say set, you grab the 3 cards and you pull it out, then you replace those 3 cards and you just keep playing. While the dealer is replacing the 3 cards, you can continue to look for other sets. And so I've actually seen it where someone's gone set and grabbed 3, set and grabbed 3, set and grabbed 3 before the dealers even replaced the cards. And then you just keep playing. However, oh, now I forgot what I was saying. Something about time, right? And speed. Oh, right. Instead of just saying set, grabbing them and putting them off to the side, instead describe why your set is a set, especially when you're playing with inexperienced players, because that will help them get a better sense and feel for why some things are sets and why other things are not. Okay, so that is the game set. I hope you guys like that. Totally recommend set as a wonderful game that you can play with your kids at home. And like some people were saying in the chat, they actually have them in their classrooms. Great game for lots of reasons. Okay, the last game that we're going to talk about today, definitely a favorite. This is a newer favorite of mine because I didn't hear about it until recently. Dun, dun, dun. Prime Climb. So Prime Climb was created by some math teachers. It has won a ton of awards. Look at all the awards, ton of awards. And it is actually fun and totally builds multiplicative reasoning and some facility with multiplication facts. Everybody's looking for that. And also facility with prime numbers, which is really totally cool. So let's talk a little bit about Prime Climb for a second. Prime Climb comes with a really cool board. I'm sorry, I only have so much desk space here. It comes with some cards that are interesting. It comes with really cool looking dice. I actually think I have a slightly older set, even though I just bought it. I know they did some stuff with the pieces and the sets, and then game pieces. So the board is really cool, and it folds so that it fits in the box. And the entire board looks like this. Look how colorful that is. Isn't that fun? Fun and colorful. Come on, focus, camera, focus, focus. The idea. Come on, focus, camera, focus, 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 focus. There we go. The idea is that everybody starts with their game pieces over here on the start at 0, and then it counts up. Can you see 1, 2, 3? We'll talk about the colors in a minute. And the idea is that you're going to traverse the game board until you land on, if you can get both of your game pieces on 101, then whoever does the both on the game pieces on 101 first wins. So one of the totally cool things about Prime Climb is just the way the board is created. So you'll notice that there are some colors across the top up here. Now I'm going to have to kind of jury rig a little bit here to see. So I'm actually upside down. Who knew? Oh, I can do it. I can do it. Am I still upside down? Okay, I'm hilarious. There we go. No. Oh, it's always going to be. I get a little nervous on Facebook Lives. Be kind. So if I'm looking at these, this is basically where the 4 people could be sitting around the board. They each have their own little sort of key down here that kind of tells them about the prime numbers. So the number 2 is in orange. See? So here's there's number 1. Number 2 is in orange. And number 3 is in green. And so the first few prime numbers have their own color. That's kind of cool. So notice 2, 3, 4, 5 all have their own color. And then 6, we put 6 up in front of the camera. 6 is 2 colors. Can anybody tell which 2 colors the number 6 is? Sure enough, it's 2 and 3 because 6 is the product of 2 and 3. The 2 prime numbers that 6 is a product of are 2 and 3. So let's go to another composite number. Look, there's so 7 has its own color. After 7, then all the prime numbers turn red. So the prime numbers up to 7 have their own color. And then after that, all the prime numbers turn red. So the rest of the prime numbers on the board are also, check that out. That's the number 43. And 43, you now know, whether you tested or not, maybe you already knew to begin with, is prime. Hey, everybody, is 41 prime or not? Is 42 prime or not? So now you can just, glancing at the numbers, have a sense and a feel if they're composite, not prime, or if they are prime. And again, the early prime numbers have their own color, and then after that, all the prime numbers are red. So you can tell right now that the number 101 is prime. But what else can you tell? Like, you can tell that the number 67 is prime, but what is 66? Well, so 66 is made up of green and orange and a prime number. And check it out. It even gives you the prime number. Let me see if I can get that even bigger. It gives you the prime number of 11. So 66 is made up of 11. And let's see, 11 times what is 66? 6. And so are these the same 2 colors that are making up the number 6? Sure enough, green and orange. So that's going to be 2 and 3. 2 and 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 11 is 66, and bam, you get the number 66. So just the way the board is created is totally cool for thinking about numbers multiplicatively, and especially in relationship to prime numbers. Excellent. So to play the game, 4 people can play. You each have 2 counters. You start all your counters on 0, and then you roll these totally cool dice. And so you roll the 2 dice, and the 2 dice just basically give you some digits, all the way up to 10. So not just digits, because 10's not a digit, but it gives you numbers all the way up to 10, starting with 1. So let's say, now I got to find my notes again. Let's say that you rolled, I covered up my notes with the set game. Hang on just a second. Okay, let's say that you had your marker on 64. And I'm sure I could find 64 if I really tried. 64. So now instantly we could start talking about what we know about 64 before we even go, once your marker's on 64. But let's just say you had a marker on 64. You had gone, we'll talk about how you go, but you'd gone and now you're on 64, and then you rolled a 2 and a 3. So what you can do with the numbers you roll is you can start on 64. You can do anything to 64 with addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division with the numbers 2 and 3. So what might you do with 2 and 3? Well, from 64, you could add 2 and go to 66, and then you could add 3 and go to 69, and then you could land on 69. You could do that. That's kind of boring. Remember, your goal is to get to 101. You could also subtract 2 and 3 from 64. That would sort of take you back from your goal, so maybe you don't want to do that. You could divide, but again, that would sort of make smaller numbers, so maybe you don't want to do that. Could you multiply? Can you multiply 64 times 2? Well, that would be over 101, so you wouldn't want to do that in one move. But could you do a really cool combination of things? Like, could you do 64 divided by 2? So 64 divided by 2, that's 32. And then you could do 32 subtract 3. So can I find 32? You could do 32 subtract 3, and now you've landed on, okay, can I do this? 29. Why might you want to go backwards like that? Well, because one of the moves in the game is that if you land on a prime number, you get to choose one of the prime cards and one of the cards. And the cards have cool things and they can be helpful. So you might actually choose to do something with 64, 2, and 3 that lands you on a prime number, because then you get to choose a card. What else could you do on 64 with 2 and 3? So I'm letting everybody think for a second. We're on 64. What else could you do with 2 and 3 that would be kind of inventive, that would move your marker forward? 64. You've rolled 2 and 3. What could you do that would be kind of, could you do 64 divided by 2 to get 32, and then 32 times 3? Bam, you're at 96. That's a fabulous move. And now you have a marker almost to 101. So there's some really cool things that you can do inventively thinking about the numbers. Let's do one other kind of a cool move. Let's say that you're on the marker 35. So say you have one of your guys on 35. Can I even find 35? Do you want to hear what's funny? My arm's getting tired holding this up. And Kim just said in her head, Pam, do more weights. All right, I will. Okay, so let's say that I'm on 35 right now, and I roll, again, a 2 and a 3. Now, you could have rolled lots of different things, and I'm just using some examples that are kind of easy for us to think about. What could you do with 35 and 2 and 3 that would get you close up to that 101, get a higher number? 35, you're on 35, and you've got a 2 and a 3. By the way, what you can't do is do something with the 2 and the 3 and then do that to the 35. You have to do each of them to the 35. So sometimes that works out because of order of operations, but sometimes it doesn't. So if you're on 35, could you subtract 2 to get to 33 and then multiply by 3, and now you're at 99? Bam! Wouldn't that be an awesome move? And now your counter is all the way up at 99. Okay, so one of our favorite games is, oh, by the way, you can also, as you're moving your counters around on, in fact, I could just maybe keep a little bit of this open. I think I can. You have 2 markers. And so when you're moving them around, if you land on another person's marker, you can send them back. Again, there are cards. There's other cool things to do. But one of the things that we like about Prime Climb is that you can actually have fun, and there's totally strategy involved, which keeps the younger learners going because they're just sort of moving, and it keeps the older, the more experienced learners having fun with the strategy. So one of our favorite things to do with games is to think about strategy. Think about a game that includes strategy. If a game includes strategy, often that means that younger and experienced players can play and have fun, and older experienced players can be thinking about the strategy. And we like games that allow us to play both together so that we can have fun as a whole family or as a community. So there you go. Those are a few of our favorite games. The makers of Prime Climb also created a game called Tiny Polka Dot. Obviously, if you have tiny kids that are just learning to count, kids are just learning addition, then you're probably not going to play Prime Climb. But they created a game called Tiny Polka Dot that is really excellent for the tiny learners. And so if you are interested, totally don't have to, but if you're interested, we'll put the link in the chat. And if you guys will click on that link and give us your email, then we will raffle off either a Prime Climb or a Tiny Polka Dot and totally send you a game for free that you guys can use. In this crazy time, we recognize that there's so much uncertainty. And so we really just wanted to give everybody kind of a place to learn about a few games today that you might find interesting. Again, if any of those interest you, maybe you have them in your closet and you haven't gotten them out for a while, maybe grab them out or order them today. And then when they come, you can totally play, because I think everybody's off for at least a few more days. Some of you guys know how long you're off. Some of you don't know how long you're off. I want you to know my heart goes out to you. I think it's a little bit difficult to have so much uncertainty in our world right now. So I really want to give you permission to take it easy, to get some rest, make sure you get some exercise, make sure you're eating healthy, and really make sure that you are getting some contact with other people. Make sure that maybe we're going to try to do some Facebook Lives in an attempt to get contact with folks. So stay tuned. We will do another Facebook Live tomorrow at this exact same time. But tomorrow's Facebook Live, unlike us giving away one free game today, tomorrow we're going to give away all the games because they're downloadable. So we'll have a whole bunch of things that you can download. Some of them will just have instructions for you to play with your kids. Some of them will have game boards that you can run off, print off, or you can just like look at the email and then sort of sketch on paper. So we'll give you some of our favorite games that aren't for purchase that you could totally play for free with just things that you have around your house. Again, exact same time tomorrow. Do me a favor, tell your friends about it. Let's get everybody to have some sort of connection with each other in this time where we're all kind of trying to social distance. That can be really tough on people's psyches. So we want to give people a chance to connect if they're interested. If you're not interested, you're like, Pam, quit bothering me, then by all means, don't watch the Facebook, or you're welcome to, just you, but feel free to let your friends know. Let me look at my list of things that I wanted to make sure we mentioned. One other thing that you might consider looking into. I don't recommend a whole lot of things that are being given out for free right now. However, one of the things that just came across my Twitter feed the other day is ST Math, spatial temporal math. I think I have that right. ST Math is really interesting. I have not looked at it as fully as probably I need to, but the bit that I've looked at, I am intrigued. It works really well for deaf and hearing impaired people because there's no words. It's about this penguin, and the idea is to get the penguin to go across the screen, and you have to do these mathy things in order to be able to get the penguin to go across the screen. You get incredibly weirdly invested in this penguin crossing the screen. It's kind of very strange. So if you're interested, they're giving away a free 30-day access right now. I think we're going to put that in the chat. We will definitely put that in the chat as soon as we can. But you might just look up ST Math, spatial temporal math. So the letter S and the letter T math, and see if you can check out their free 30-day access. I think I have that part right. So let's see, Facebook Live tomorrow on games that you can download for free. We will be doing a couple more Facebook Lives next week if we get we've had great membership or great turnout today. So as long as people are interested, we will try to make that available so that you guys can, like I said, have some connection or in these crazy days, and also some things to do with your family and loved ones while you're at home. Let me look at the chat and see if there's any questions or anything that I can talk to. So we've just put the link in there. There's the link for mathisfigureoutable.com/drawing if you want a chance to win either Prime Climb or Tiny Polka Dot, depending on what age group you have your kids. So Cece asked, are you doing that live for parents as well? Parents are definitely welcome to join in. I'm trying to make this both for teachers and parents and kids. I think kids could have totally played set with us today. Tomorrow we'll play another or the couple games a little bit. I'll talk about a bunch of games quickly like I did today, and then we'll play a couple of the games. So kids are welcome, parents are welcome, teachers are welcome. Anybody who wants to play games are definitely welcome to join. Thank you, Steve. You stay healthy as well. I appreciate you joining in today. Let's see what else is. We put the link in there for ST Math. Thank you, Sue, for doing that. So Kathy Campbell, you ask a really good question. She asked if it's only for U.S. people. Kathy, throw your email in there. I'll make you a deal. If your shipping isn't twice what it is for the United States and you win, I will send you the game. If it's over twice the shipping, maybe I won't. But I totally get it. I appreciate you joining in, Kathy, from Canada, and anybody joining in from anywhere else. If it's not twice the shipping, then we'll keep you in the drawing. How's that? Is that fair? We'll see if that's fair. Rebecca asked, how do you enter the drawing? If you look down in the feed, there's Math is Figure, or you can just go to mathisfigureoutable.com/ let me make sure I have it right. Drawing, DRAWING. So mathisfigureoutable.com/drawing. And then you can enter the drawing there. I'm looking to see what else is anybody asking. Oh, Jenny, thanks. Jenny put the list of games in the chat. So if you want to look for Jenny's list, Jenny, thank you. I appreciate that. And congratulations on your new gig. How exciting. Yeah, let's see. I'm not seeing anybody else have any other. Thanks, Kathy. I'm glad that sounds fair. Excellent. Let's see. Wendy said, I'm a grade 3-5 interventionist. Any ideas about how to support kids at home along this path would be helpful. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why we're trying to do this today. So obviously these are for purchase, so we're not expecting kids to go out and buy games. Tomorrow's games will all be just, you can totally look at the download, and there you should have the things around the home to play. I'm going to do some things next week, probably at the same time on Facebook, unless anybody tells us there will be better times, where we'll actually do some problem strings for kids. So it can be for anybody, but I'll do them, I think, at a rate that kids for that level should be able to join in. So we'll just do some fun math with kids. So let me know if you think that interests you. I'm definitely willing to do, I just don't want to bore anybody. And what I really don't want to do is like inundate anybody with things. I kind of feel like my inbox is sort of crazy full of some things that aren't so helpful. And so I don't want to make anybody crazy. It's why I'm waiting to do more for kids next week. I think by next week, more kids might be interested in doing something like that. All the free stuff maybe has come out that they've already maybe looked at. So I would love your input. The best place to give me input would be to join my teacher Facebook group or my parent Facebook group. And then I would love your input in those Facebook groups. We will definitely try to help everybody, as much as we can. So definitely give me feedback in there. We are going to record this, or we are recording it, and we will put it on my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel is called Figuring Math. I think you can just like Pam Harris Math on YouTube, and you should be able to find my YouTube channel. Not too bad. It's Figuring Math. So yes, we will record this and we'll put it on Figuring Math for sure. Let's see what else we got on. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, one other thing. So this is for profit. So you can totally hang up now if you're not interested. But for profit, for me, I have an online workshop for middle school teachers. If you teach fifth grade through middle school or high school, I think it'd be a phenomenal way for you to spend your time over this next little while. We have a code for 20% off since this crazy 2020 time is happening. So if you're interested in that, you can definitely ask me about... Sue, I forgot what the code is. I know it's 2020, but is it Grassroots 2020? Anyway, if you're interested in that, we will put a link in the chat for you to go to the information page about that course. It's called Building Powerful Proportional Reasoning. I think this would be the optimal time for some teachers, not all, but if you're a person who's going stir crazy and you don't want to just watch Netflix or Prime or whatever it is that you're streaming all the time. I'll be honest with you. I'm streaming a little bit of Alias right now. You have to buy Alias though, but it's so good. I never did watch all of Alias. And so that's sort of been my chosen thing to, what do you call it? Not just stream, but, when you watch it all. I know there's a term when you just sit and watch. So I'm only watching a couple at a time, but I am doing that for some fun. But when you've done enough of that, and maybe you're interested in something for you professionally, as teachers, we don't typically have time professionally to do things like, we don't have a lot of extra time. So that's an online course that you could take if you're interested in it. Super, Kathy. That sounds great. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad. Oh, the coupon code is GW. There we go. I had something to do with Grassroots. So GW 2020 if you're interested in 20% off of that online workshop. Also, this is a thing that my students know at the university. If you ever want an exception, ask me privately. So like in the chat right now, if you say, hey, Pam, can I have more than 20% off? I will say no, because that's not private. But if you email me and you say, hey, I'm paying for this out of my pocket, there is a really good chance that I will give you more than 20% off. So there's the thing. If you're paying out of pocket, if your school's paying for it, I'm going to let your school pay for it. But if that interests you, school can still get 20% off right now. Anyway, if that interests you, let me know. Thanks for joining in today. Do me a favor and let your friends know if they're interested. They're going stir crazy. They want some free games to play with their kids or to send home with their students. We're going to give you hopefully enough instructions that you could send them home with your students by email, and the kids could play those games. So if that interests you, please let your colleagues know, let your parent friends know, invite your kid friends if you want to for tomorrow's Facebook Live. Same time, same bat channel. We will see you there. Bye, everybody. Binge watching.